Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I'm your watch guy today. I'm back with another microbrand today, and this one is going to be launching this piece in March on Kickstarter. I've left a link in the description if you want to go and subscribe to the newsletter, I think it is, and notifications, then you can do so there. Now this one is a Swiss made piece. That being that it has a Swiss movement in it. This one is from Audric. Now you may remember their first release. I was really interested in that one, so I was really keen to get this one on the channel once they offered it up to me. Now this one isn't something that I'm going to keep. This is going back or onto the next reviewer, so no paid promotion sign anywhere, and obviously as always a fully honest review for this one. It is going to be 499 USD on early bird price, or that's the early indications of that. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to clear up before the... Now, there are a couple of things that we do need to clear up before the release, but one thing that is very clear about this piece is that it is bloody fantastic. With that being said, let's turn this camera around and let's get into the review. So, let's get straight to the point. This is the Audric Strider, and well, it says stroller there, but they're going to name it Strider. That's going to be changed. This is a Swiss powered microbrand watch that is going to be coming to a Kickstarter in March, I believe, for 499 USD on the Kickstarter early bird price. You're going to get a Swiss movement, a signed rotor, a beautiful watch that is built with stainless steel and a hexadory coating for longer lasting durability. It's a lovely watch. The question is, when there's so many options on Kickstarter and through microbrands nowadays, is this the one that you should pick up? Well, let me try and answer that. So first we'll start with the dimensions and let's see if this is suited to your wrists. We have a 40.7mm in diameter casing. It is 11.8mm thick. Lug to lug is 47.8mm, and these lugs are 20mm wide, and we do have this sort of integrated bracelet style to the watch. Now there's a lot of really fantastic angles throughout the casing of this watch. We do have some maybe inspired type of Royal Oak look to this one. However, I don't think you can ever even breathe the word homage around this because it is an original design. I just feel like that's where people will probably draw the only likeness to. One thing that I really do love is the angles to the casing. I love that this is split and almost in a triangular shape on the side here, and over on the other side we do have the crown, which does give us that almost triangular shape also. It's a very easy to use crown. It has good levels of grip, and we have a little bit of detailing through the side of it here in a nice pale blue stripe that matches the dial very nicely, and I think it gives it a little bit of an aesthetic feel to that crown. It brings it into the watch slightly. Now this is a Swiss movement. It's either going to be packed with the ETA 2824 or the SW200. Now I did speak to the gent at Audric and he was trying to order the ETA movement, but he was having a little bit of difficulty with it, and that's why there's some ambiguity with the movement at the moment. I'm sure that'll be all cleared up by the time that the Kickstarter comes around. The casing has really nice levels of finishing throughout. We have a brushed finish down the sides of the casing and on the upper lugs, whilst we have a really pleasant break between the bezel, or the top of the bezel, and the side. That has a high polish and it has an almost screw nut type of design to it. I do like the little sloped edge. I do think that gives it a little bit of curvature to the watch also. Now the upper side of this watch is very simple. However, we do have some angles also built in to the front facing view of this. We have a circular brushing on the top of the fixed bezel and some brushed finish to the angular lugs. Now, one pleasant feature to this watch is that the lugs come to almost a 90-degree finish, which really does help with the fit of the watch, as well as that we do have some female end links, which will also aid in fitting the watch to your wrist. They'll make it a very comfortable wear. That crown is signed and it is also loomed in the center of that crown. I will show you that in the loom shot later on. We have a display Caseback on here, and it is actually a really nice sight. I hope they stick with the ETA movement in here, because it really is a beautiful movement in the back of this watch. Also displays the specifications of this piece, as many Casebacks do, and you'll have seen there that this is a 200-meter water resistant watch. You'll also see that it is a sapphire crystal. Now, it is a flat sapphire crystal in here from what I can see. However, on the spec page of Audric, this one did say they had dome sapphire. I don't know if maybe that's a mistake, or I'm not sure. Now, as we move into the dial of this watch, you can see that's a very lovely feature with almost a Clé de Paris styling to the finish of this watch. Now, I know not everyone is a fan of these almost box-like designs on watch dials, but personally, a big fan. I do like the individual pyramid design to each section of this watch. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Now, all of the indices are applied to the dial. We have a lume center. We have Arabics at the 12, 9 and 6, and a date window at the 3 o'clock. That date window is bordered with a stainless steel border, you can see there. That also flows through the rest of the indices. On the chapter ring, which gives this watch a little bit of depth as we look into the dial, we have a minute counter. That gives a really intricate sort of instrument style to this piece. Up at the 12 o'clock, we have the Audric logo and stroller at the 6 o'clock. However, you won't get that in the production piece. This is now the Strider, and I think that is the best choice that I made in the development of this watch, is changing that name. As we move on to the handset, you can see that these are a sword style handset. However, we have a almost skeleton style to them with the cutouts towards the base. Lume centers with a high polished stainless steel accent to the outer edge. That second hand takes nicely along with that arrowhead feature. It reaches very nicely to the chapter ring, also the minute track on the chapter ring. One thing that I have forgot to mention is the Swiss made at the either side of the 6 o'clock. That's the real money maker on this piece, or really the real attraction at this price range. Now, I am looking forward to the loom shot. Now, I know a lot of you already know, but I do try and keep the loom shot a little bit of a surprise for myself, because I'd like to react to it in real time, so you understand the actual feelings that you get towards the finish on it, or the actual reaction that I have to the loom on this. So I'll get these lights out and we can have a look at that. As you can see, we have a really nice C3 loom on this. It is C3 X1 in the, that's what they've named this in the, well, that's what they've recorded in their specification sheet. Now, I think that they've done a really good job on the loom for a prototype piece. This is still a prototype. I think that they've missed a little bit on the 9. That's a little bit patchy. However, throughout the rest of the dial, this is a really good loom, and it's definitely bright, and it definitely stands out in a dark spot. As I say, the spread could be slightly better on the production. I hope that it will be, considering that usually your loom always gets better throughout production. That's one of the things that pretty much every brand improves, I believe. However, for a fair shot and for an example piece, I think that this is a really nice loom signature. I like the fact that the numerals are also heavily loomed and give a nice bright indication, just like the indices. So, good first try, Audric. Let's do better in production. So one of the really nice parts of this watch is the finishing to its bracelet. Now, we have box-like links on this piece. They have a high polished finish to the tips of the links, and then throughout the rest of the bracelet is a really nice level of brushing, and it's premium level of brushing to me. I think that that's really well finished. The end links here, as you can see, do have tips of polish, and that does break up the bracelet really nicely, and it does follow into the rest of the design. Fits really nicely to wrist also. The signed clasp here with double pushers. Now, I will come back to these pushers. through the moan section, but it's not a big one. We do have a milled clasp on here. 3 levels of micro adjust is pretty much the minimum for me. I think 4 is a good level. Again, really lovely levels of finishing throughout this bracelet. We do have screw links in this one, which is a nice piece of quality. Something that we are coming to expect from micro brands now is those screw links. That's a sign of quality through your bracelet, really. Now, where would my moans lie? Well, I have a couple. So I'd like them to be more specific with the movement. I understand the supply issue at the moment, but that needs to be solved before the release and a little bit of time before that to give people a chance to decide on this one. I really like the hexadot coat, and I think that's a quality touch from them. I think this is a fantastic offering at 499 USD on that Kickstarter early bird. It will go up to 799 on the retail price, I believe. Now, aside from the ambiguity between the movement, the only other issue that I've really had with this piece is the clasp, and it's not really the biggest issue in the world. Now, the buttons seem to be a little bit soft to the touch, a little bit like you can't really tell if you're pushing them in or you're not. They sit slightly too close to the clasp for me, and as you can probably tell, that's a really particular moan. That's a very it's probably a pretty harsh one for this watch, because to be fair, there wasn't much to moan about. I think it's a fantastic design. I think that's a lovely watch. There are certain areas that they can improve, like that lume, the clasp. Other than that though, they are offering a really good package here, and I can definitely see this one selling out on the Kickstarter. I can definitely see them, well, I can definitely see them hitting their goal very quickly, and I can see the early birds selling out rather quickly too. So it's definitely worth you putting the notifications on for this one so you don't miss out if it's something for you. They do have other colour options also if this one doesn't strike you. Plenty of different ones to choose from. I believe there's 5 different colour options on them. I am rather looking forward to the release of this. I think it'll go quite well. So now over to you, Audric. So guys, that is the Audric Strider. I don't know why they initially went with Stroller. That is a terrible name. I'm glad that they changed that. Now for 499 USD, I think that this is a really good package. So if you can get on to that super early bird price, then I really do advise that's what you do. Now, as we know with Kickstarter, the prices increment. So be aware of that. Try and go on as early as possible if you want this piece. Now, going off Audric's last release, they do sell quickly. So be quick on your buttons when this one comes up. A few little niggles for me towards the end, but altogether I know that this is a piece that is going to sell well because it's a good looking fella. It's got all the right types of angles and it's got all the right type of characteristics that are very popular in the market at the moment. I think this one will do really well, and I am rather looking forward to seeing what Audric do next. I think it's got to be either a pilot, field or dress next. Surely they've done the diver. This is definitely a sports model, so I'm looking forward to seeing where they go next. Hopefully they'll send that one in too. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you're not already subscribed here, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. That way you can see my upcoming content and I'd be very grateful. Thanks for watching this, guys. I'll see you in the next one.